Frank Fritz passed away in late September 2024. After less than 3 weeks, an inventory did the investigation in his own garage in Iowa. Out of the dozens of old cars along with well-known souvenirs, and the car came out. Not on any official list catalog of production. It was unique, not fixed, and had no reason to be a part of the past of the car. The fact that Frank had it changed behind closed doors for a long time the whole picture of his impact. It was proven that the car was a not yet released version of the Bugatti Type 57C Atlanti with engine and body numbers and things about the technology that don't match any model made by the original company. Professionals in the business of old cars. By looking at the example, it was decided that the car's frame is unique, there are no signs of recent repairs or messing with. Use uncommon in some parts alloys, such as made parts that show signs of machine technology recorded while Bugatti was making it the year 1936. 1938, it was decided by the experts that the car was not only real, but it was also a Bugatti that you can buy off the shelf. The model number wasn't on the official serial numbers that are kept by the Bugatti Trust. The engine didn't work. Follow any normal 57SC design. The engine, transmission, and how the engine's parts are put together, all the compartments had trial traits or traits. The expert who worked alone preliminary detailed report from the group told them, the car shows the things that make a highly technical type, but it doesn't belong to any cycle of production or released project known to Bugatti or its growth branches in the years before the Second World War I. How much do you think the car is worth? If it turns out to be a real prototype, over $50 million, which is a lot more than the value of any goods that Frank still has estate. However, the legal situation of the car is still not clear because the ownership papers aren't consistent. Record from the beginning shows the car was bought in Kansas from a warehouse in 2006. Frank is not on the bill of sale Fritz's, but a person who has never showed up in public in law or media records that are connected to him. The car, which hasn't already been, has been posted. Has caught the attention of a number of groups that work with old cars, museums, and taking care of land. There are the Bugatti Trust, the law, someone from the Bugatti family. A number of industrial historians have asked to be let into the car to its roots are being looked into. German experts who worked before the war as repair projects have shown how the frame and rear wing are made. These traits of an aerodynamic abandonment of a building project in 1938, which made it more likely that the car was part of a test run project that had to be put on hold during before the war. In papers found during the administration of the estate after Frank Fritz died, an extra storage system was proven to exist. Besides the main building, in Iowa, the place is more than 40 miles away from the town of Flair. Wasn't before found in records of public land. Some more papers, objects, and there were files found in the facility, such as personal notes, drawing, message, and bill writing by hand sale, and a few plans that haven't been the place to store things. Among the papers here are kept alive a number of notes made by hand describing the Bugatti 57SC Atlanti was found in a Kansas building that used to be the U.S. Department of Defense owns it. The land was sold in 2005 and doesn't have any clear history of sales in the past. The records show that Frank accessed through an unofficial sale in a warehouse and took the car to his own garage. In their own car without a special permit license to move. Document analysts found a large body of text that suggested Frank knew about the strange how the car works. A few notes talked about his choice not to make the people who own cars, claiming reasons related to strict privacy, unknown who owns what, and the risk of could have an attack if word got out. In a letter from 2009, he called the car something that doesn't belong in the agreed on a technical timeline and said that its presence should be proven only after I died. In addition to Frank kept track of where the car came from by also kept a lot of plans and maps about how to store and protect it. Some maps lead to other places to store things. Building in the Midwest that have not been fully looked into because of legal access is limited in a number of ways. His personal letters show that he did not trust any group to do the right thing. Take care of the car's history and technical value if it comes out during his throughout his life. Frank kept all of his records on paper that don't show computer recording. This made things take longer. The process of taking stock of and figuring out what papers say, but also brought up the level of privacy and personal power that he was able to this very valuable quality. In all of his in the records, there is no sign that he goal of making money off of that car, putting it on a TV show, or giving it away at auction in the future. Consistency in how you store things and language, along with extra information from bill for shipping, bill for repair, and purchases of equipment show that Frank had planned out his steps for the storage for the car over almost too many years. The mystery surrounding the knowledge and not giving it to anyone else, friends and family, even on TV business, which shows a level of dedication to the choice not to reveal. All of this paperwork has now been turned into digital files and sent to technical organizations with knowledge and classic cars in the records to make an official record of history. Historians of cars are working with the lawyers who are taking care of Frank's estate to write a final report. Proof of the privacy, ways of keeping things safe, and unique ways of running a company are thought to be enough evidence that Frank did what he did in order to making sure the car's unique more than just technical value. Broken Brotherhood has a collectible function. Mike Wolf and Frank Fritz they were officially named as close partners and longtime friends who helped start the American Pickers is a TV series that began in 2010, making it one of the most widely watched shows about collecting things in the United States for more than 10 years. In any case, since 2019, the link between the two people does not seem to be able to be reconciled. Not the same. After being away from the show for a long time, Frank officially stopped being on the air in the middle of 2021. The production statement did not give a reason, but it was later proven that the break wasn't voluntarily. In a separate talk in the same year, he said that I haven't talked to Mike Wolf since 2020. He also said that what the show was about was not as steady with the first public goals that both had worked toward. Records and work records kept internally for sure that from 2018 to 2020, American Pickers changed its operating style, making it bigger commercial presence, putting money into stores, and a license partner goods. The choice was made with Mike Wolf's okay, but there is no printed proof that Frank agreed to in a new direction. Sources in the production and editing team decided that debates about who should control content, choice of place, and individual the exposure caused a major split in the partnership. While Frank was getting treatment and getting better after his stroke in 2022, nobody in the public heard from the cast and crew or Mike Wolf about his health, other than a short message that was put up after the news release. From then on until Frank died, there was no direct communication with the people. Still going on between the parties. As part of the inventory of papers in Frank's second library, some smelly there were found personal letters. The letters from April 2023 and kept to put something in a personal paper box means the having a relationship with Mike Wolf and anger over the breakdown, but not being friendly. In the end, in the first line of the letter, Frank talks about the unique car and says that he has made legal entry possible for Mike after he died. The news of the letter isn't mean or demanding, but rather an acknowledgement of Mike's part in the beginning of both men's journey. The letter was part of the legal file as a document that doesn't tie anyone, but it changed the way the division was done. Charge and care of the Bugatti, and the expert said that storage of the lawyers working on the estate, it wasn't clear who the will was for. Those who owned the car, but the supporting papers were seen as proof from other sources in the process to split up the temporary entry rights. When Mike Wolf heard the news of the car was made public, a written statement was made public in his own name, letting him know that he had been told and would work together with specialized groups to deal with the impact in line with the technical and what the car means to people. The message lacked specifics about the personal friendship with Frank Fritz and didn't answer to afterward requests for talks from the press. Getting into the car is now under separate regulatory supervision with support from more than one party, like Mike Wolf, old cars experts in repair, and the Heritage Trust. A choice about whether to let go the car to the public, fix it up, or change it to a history of industry protection group will be set up. as soon as the formal review is over. Data, such as unsent letters and detailed records, are being put together to look at Frank's activities in depth. Last few years. Media and cars groups that study history have started a group of specialist papers on the connection between two people who helped make collectibles what they are today, TV in the United States. Elements are slowly putting together a new picture of a past relationship having to do with the public as a friend, but it ended in quiet and many questions that still need to be solved. Last pickup. While the inventory was being done of Frank Fritz's property, all of Iowa, the garage and the extra room it has, a list of all 67 sites was made. Old bikes, 21 before $1,975 cars, and more than 400 other things such as tools, license plates, things like appliances, keepsakes, and papers about the past of the United States and European cars were written about. This is one of the most complete. Some private collections in the Midwest have a percentage of the things still in pristine state that goes beyond initial standards for repair. Analysis by a group of separate their work shows that the collection is very well organized with categories based on the type and time period of the maker as well as the amount of originality. It comes with original technical paperwork, records of purchases, and and photos that have been recovered afterward. Some of the bikes in the collection are from Harley-Davidson J models made in 1928 to in the 1960s, Italy-made bikes. Each one has been kept in sealed conditions in the world with no proof that the original was changed. Setting up the 8 of the 21 cars are special editions. Model years, 3 of which have showed up on earlier shows of There Is Also American Pickers. And the Bugatti 57 SC Atlanti that was found separately. The final vehicles haven't been shown much. That the people should know about. For private owners only, not for TV or for business purposes. A well-known one thing about the group is the Frank has made a method for labels by hand. All of the items come with notes that list the date of purchase, where it was found, how much it cost, and this way of evaluating yourself, putting things on display and keeping them, shows how personalized and important it is in the collection that goes above and the normal way of collecting. Each note makes things in a standard way by clear wording that doesn't show emotion parts or general explanations. Besides the cars, the collection consists of business papers, drawing books, engineering books, and repair tools. A lot of these tools date back to the early 1900s and were used to teach mechanics buildings in the United States. Some of the unique tools are kept in their original boxes that can be brought back to in good working order. The preservation have decided that this group is ready for a specialized and non-profit with an archive and a show, and group in Iowa has sent a plan to set up a permanent. The Frank Fritz is the name of an art center collection, which will be about learning how to fix up old cars techniques, while keeping mechanical historic sites and doing research things for workers and students in the field of automobile engineering. The Frank family has no plans to sell or trade off any of there are vehicles in the group. A decision was made at a meeting of lawyers on the event took place on December 14, 2024. Would like to keep the culture and the value of his estate for schooling. Process of keeping records, separate looking at, and giving away the rights for display reasons, it will be done in stages. And under the control of the Iowa Department History. The fact that Frank has held on to such a thorough, detailed, and collection that wasn't released before that for so long shows the degree of some time between his TV careers and the things he collects for himself. Proof that the things were ever was used for advertising, marketing, or media tools. The whole method of storing and the goal of classification is to care, study, and preservation of the history of industry. What we learned from the report, different groups also confirm that Frank's keeping things in order, preserving, taking care of this collection in very good shape is one of the best. Some examples of private, non-business archive model among cars and trucks. Americans who are fans. How big, unique, and that the collection is useful for study, being thought about for state-level help with protection starting in 2025. A lasting legacy. The land history, records, and archives records gathered from the Frank Fritz estate are being categorized right now, made uniform so that a specialized database for study and for the purpose of protection. Message from the legal team group. items from very old times, value in terms of technology and business sent to groups that qualify for keeping things safe, while personal stuff, this is something the family will keep as a record. It was a Bugatti Type 57 SC Atalanta. Not the same as any approved chassis number, is being kept in a closed-a place to store things at the Midwest Mechanical Restoration by the Heritage Institute groups in the United States and Europe, with members. From they are running the Bugatti Trust examinations of the sources in depth, engine, and history of transfers to find out where the car came from and 100% accuracy. A provisional A paper from the Institute of Mechanical Heritage Research has found that the car could be the result of a not succeeded or never officially released test project that was made in the time before the Second World War. That the car looked like it wasn't in any official cycle of creation and was kept unharmed by a single person for almost 2 decades is bringing about new needs for taking inventory and judging the items not part of the National Museum system. Professional news media groups have started making plans to make television documentaries that were mostly about engineering. One important thing that Frank Fritz left behind project is a television series that was made by public television in the U.S. Possibly called Frank Fritz, The Last. The project is a real guardian of craft. Is being made in partnership with an investigative team that is putting together of technical data that was found in Frank's garage and house outside. In addition to the scientific parts, groups that care about cultural assets are doing study on Frank's social life effect as a guardian of traditional understanding of his trade. His personal files, that have more than 20,000 pages of research, journals, and notes written by hand, articles and systems for tagging artifacts, are being moved to the Midwest. Archives for code that are not for profit, digital storage and teaching the people. The story of Frank Fritz is looked at by experts to be a normal case of a privately owned non-state collections and a plan for conservation that works when it comes to business standards, correctness, organization, and a sense of his unwillingness to take responsibility. Make money off of or promote important relics is thought to be in line with the idea of protection and is some political groups are thinking about right now. Groups as an example for the setting up a separate non-profit funds for protection. The Iowa Department the Statement of Cultural Heritage and Heritage an approved message on January 6, 2025, which confirms the creation of the Frank Fritz Center for Documentary Look into Things in the State Museum System. The center should be up and running soon. In the third quarter of 2026 with first money from the American Fund for Industrial Heritage and Social Resources. The fact that a person besides the school system without formal technical knowledge can help order, protect and store an object of very good technical and historical value that doesn't change for a long time, its structure or initial purpose is very rare. Case in point. The Frank Fritz case is being watched by international groups whose goal is to bring in lessons for finding, keeping an eye on, and helping unofficial hunters in the world. When the car was found, which hasn't been made public yet along with all of the helping